I really like it. I do it for years.
I couldn't stand anything like that.
Guys, you know.
I can't believe it. Right? That's so much time ever I got hooked. The man of the hour. Should have been hooked if you follow instructions.
Jesus Christ. Thank you, everybody. I don't know what to say.
Bill around, say hello to everybody, and then I'm going to show you something.
All right.
Well, go on.
Hey, Zane.
How's it going, brother?
How you doing, buddy?
Make sure you give
What's
a
happening?
big pat on the
Is
back.
your dad pull this guy?
Talk about the
You
job.
let your husband pull this?
Saw my son grow up from a little guy like that.
should know that.
Awesome stuff. Kind of cool dog, too. I don't know what
Well, it's like Scott. I think now it's like one of my so everyone
Something was wrong there, but I didn't know what. Yesterday she told me we got builders, everything's all set. I do anything for them. Funny, you're telling them
I knew about it. I did some welding on it. Actually, I did some welding on it. A little bit.
Whenever I want. Hey, Liza, come here. For anybody that's not really a bike builder, or people that think they're bike builders, go on TV and tell you they're master builders, and they do everything. They're full of shit. Bike building is a team sport. And if you want to get to the top of the list, you surround yourself with the best people there are. I don't care what business it is. You surround yourself with the best talent there is. One of the reasons Dennis was successful is because we had the best talent around, right? Well, for me, I do the same thing. I get the best welders. Rob from Aztec helps me weld in all my stuff. Painters, whatever the project is. Well, Liza here is the pinstriper, right?
Yep.
Sign painter.
Yep.
So last year I built a bike that ended up winning a national championship. However, in that process, I changed my mind a lot. The bike kind of takes on a life of its own. So the bike ended up being called Obsessed, and quickly how that happened is that every time Terry or Zane or Ray or anybody else would come in, the bike would be in pieces again. They'd be like, man. So one day, my son comes in and tells me, well, you're never going to finish that bike if you don't stop obsessing over the details. So for the 4th time in a month, I stripped all the stuff off the side covers, right? Had the guy repaint them, and Liza here restriped them and lettered them again, right?
Yep.
Now, never one time did she charge me extra, ever. So, for all her hard work, by the way, she's done the one from Velocity Channel and some of the other ones. So, I thought you should have something, right? From me to you. We'll turn around so they can see it. They get to see it every day. That's the picture from Easy Rider.
That's very cool.
There you go. This, 7 months ago, after I got out of the hospital getting my hip and my pelvis replaced, Dennis called me up, said he had his bike, had taken his bike out of another shop and brought it back here. Didn't tell me anything about it other than it was the blue bike. For me, realistically, that would be enough. I worked for Dennis back in 95, 96, 97, till I had a heart attack. So, he asked me if I could get it running. Well, getting it running is a whole lot different than Dennis led me to believe. So I came over on my little walker, looked at the bike, and it was in that back room. I damn near started crying. And the reason is, you see, Ricky's here somewhere, James Greenman, Richie Soleno, all these people that got jobs. Even my daughter worked for them, selling hot dogs out there. Remember? On Sundays, we used to give away free hot dogs. All kinds of cool stuff. So, when you think back, this bike really changed the way that Harley Davidson did business. And the reason for that is because you could walk into any biker's dream store, buy a new Harley, 12 miles an hour, 7, whatever they were, or you could buy whatever part you wanted. Hell, there was $2 million worth of inventory in the place. 75 different sets of every taillight there was. It was the first superstore. But not only that, it united a bunch of people. Dennis was kind enough to hire Ricky of Harley, the general manager. Ricky was kind enough to hire me, which I don't know if that was kindness or pity.
I was looking for the best.
Yeah, I think they thought better of me after I worked there for about a week. So, to me, that's what this bike is. It's friendships and the stuff that we'll never be able to forget. Right? So, he told me that he wanted to get the bike done, and I was like, we got 2 problems, because the way it is, it sucks. He liked some of that stuff, but I told him the bike should be put back together the way it was. The problem with the way it was, and the way he got it back, is 90% of what's on the bike right now was missing or destroyed. And I mean totally. Where's the picture, right? Get that picture. That is how the bike looked when the first time I ever saw it, right there. Now, I have a lot of commitments and stuff with Bike Week in the next couple of weeks, but I'll end up finishing the bike, but I am obsessive about the details. So I don't understand how the dash was put on, but it's over there and fixed, right? And he never gave us none of the stuff back from the exhaust either. Anyway. So we have the pipes and everything done, ready to go. I just don't have the stuff to put on. And I told you the story about, but anyway, the bike is incomplete, 90% done. The hard stuff is done. And the reason that I chose to unveil it today, whether it's done or not, is because I want Dennis to see the bike in front of all his friends and everybody that, I mean, I can tell you guys, and I've met Craig here through Biker's Dream, we've become lifelong friends, a lot of people. But I wanted Dennis to see the bike back from what it was in there to where it is right now before anybody else, right? Because I think that means a lot. It means a lot to me anyway. So, without further ado, pull them sheets off. Remember, it's incomplete but close.
Wow. Sweet.
Over on the table is the tank that moves off of this, and it goes, sits right back on it till it's covered. But there's not a piece I didn't fix. Not one. Dennis?
Let's go to Daytona.
Thank you. I'll have done and running probably the end of the week.
For those of you who don't know, this bike was originally a basic Softail custom. A friend of mine who worked at the car dealership when we had it. It was blue and silver. At that time, Harley just started coming around, and I'd never seen a bike like this. I went, God, it's beautiful. It sounded great. He'd come rumbling up, and he walked in to the showroom. We were both selling cars. He said, I think I want to sell this bike, so I want to get a boat. And I thought, man, you're a freaking retard. And he said, I want to go to the river. I want to get a boat. I want to sell this. And so I said, well, I'd like to buy it. And I put on my American Express card. They would only give me $2,000 a week back then out of this American Express card. So it took me 4 weeks to pay for it. And I think I gave him $8,000 or $8,500. I was proud as could be, man. I rode this thing back and forth to the car lot with a white shirt and a tie on flying over my back and rumbling up in front of there, and I thought I was, you know, what's that freaking guy, an Easy Rider? Peter Fonda or something like that. And absolutely fell in love with it until I went to a Harley dealership and found out what dickheads they were. Realistically, that's the way they are at dealership. I said I want some pipes, and they didn't really treat me too well, so I ended up buying the pipes from them because it's the only place to get them. I said, where's another store? And at that time, even as big as Southern California is, there was no other place to get parts. And I just came off of a venture where I had one of the largest VW parts stores actually in the world. And so I thought, well, if I could sell $10,000 worth of chrome and junk to kids for VWs, I could certainly do it to people for these Harleys, because I'm not the only one with a $8,000 or $10,000 motorcycle. I must be making a bunch of these. And so I decided to own my own store, so I buy parts, whatever I want, whenever I want. Well, this bike here created a passion, and originally I was trying to think of something that Harley used the word hog, so I called it hog parts. And of course Harley got their nuts in a bunch, said you can't use the word hog because that's one of our things that we have. I said, okay, fine, I'll call it biker's dream, because that's what it was to me. It was to be able to walk in, see anything you want, whenever you want, get anything you want. And short story is that within 6 years, we've taken it from a little dinky store to a national publicized company with a mail order division which shipped parts all over the world. We had giant corporate stores called superstores, like the one we had down here where all this met. We had them in Dallas. That poster we showed, there was like 40 of them. And we had franchises as well. What we innovated because of this bike was a complete evolution of chrome exchange, custom paint, and most of the parts you see on motorcycles as they evolved for the last few years, the T-bag system. We were pioneers for everything pretty much as you can think of that's available today through that Huntington Beach store. Actually the Santa Ana store too, the big corporate store we opened. But the thing that Jim brought to my attention was because of this bike, the dream still lives on with all of these people that are still buying all this stuff and all this innovation that's going on. The logo for this thing, when we started Biker's Dream, in fact, there it is. It was knocked off by almost every motorcycle company in some way, shape, or fashion, but they didn't know what the logo was about. They just thought it was cool artwork, so they knocked it off. It had a meaning behind it, just like this bike had a meaning behind it. It's an eagle on top of a Harley, slanted and italicized, the word Superstore, which means it's a big, bad American machine going forward fast in size and volume. that's what we did. The custom paint program that we evolved is now what Harley uses. If you look at any of the custom paint that Harley uses or the CVO bikes, it all originated in the store. It all originated because we had a guy that come in, 3 little kids, an old beat up car that I didn't think would make it back 100 miles to Palmdale. He said, I want to paint for you. And with his dedication and his openness to learn, we evolved 3D custom paint into what it is today. So when I left the company and retired in '96, Harley came right in and scooped this guy up. They put in 2 factories in Mexico, a factory in California, and they were doing $1 million a month in POs with him. He was flying around in a jet with Willie G and all kinds of crazy stuff. So a lot of dreams are still evolving because they're still using the same 3D technology for all their custom paint. If you notice, they all have numbered series on them. We didn't do that. We just had a commitment to excellence and put our logo on it. Same spot. It was right here in the corner of all the tanks. There's a Facebook page. I was in Daytona at Biketoberfest, and there was a bike sitting on the road, and the bike still looked like brand new. I'm like, damn, that looks like one of our paint jobs. It was red, white, and blue, and I think I had Bill with me. I said, I'm going to walk around the corner if it's got our logo on it. I said, you have a pretty good memory. I think we either sold out of the Florida store or maybe the California store. And sure enough, it was this bike is dream. The bike still looked just like this. That paint that's on there, folks, is since 1993. So that's what we put in the marketplace, and that's what's how the dreams evolved. This bike evolved like this because I got ran over one night in Hollywood Boulevard after some Thai food. And fucked it all up. Anyways, now it's back to the way it was after we built it. We spent about $87,000 originally building it through the store. And in 1995, Richie Slenter can tell you. He's not here today, but Richie Slenter came into my office. A Japanese guy was in. He was buying all kinds of crazy stuff in there. And I don't know if he came specific to the bike or just to see one of the stores, but Richie came in with a...
I think it was to see the
Yeah,
bike.
you were there too.
Yeah.
With a $150,000 offer to purchase a bike in cash that night. And at that time, bikes hadn't hit triple digit or 6 digits. They weren't no $100,000 bikes around like you see on, Orange County Chopper or any of these other shows. But kind of sit back in the chair, like, man, if that guy's that crazy, tell him 200,000, he can have it.
Well, I told him that and he didn't flinch.
But anyways, he didn't get it, and regardless of the amount of money, I'm glad I still have it because it's, like Jim says, it's iconic in its stature. Just because if you want to measure what a single product has helped put in the market, there's probably hundreds of millions of dollars that have been spent because of the dream this bike instilled in me to create a company that was, I guess, cutting edge enough to pioneer things that help expand the whole vision of custom motorcycles. So, Jim, I can't thank you enough. I get choked up.
Don't blame me, man.
Cool, right? I thought I had to wear my sunglasses.
This is a project that for me is pretty special. Now, when we worked at Biker's Dream, we had a guy, called him Rappers, right? Charlie McDermott. Charlie was true blue Biker's Dream. I mean, that was it. It was the company, not for nothing. So, unfortunately, I don't have the bike running where you can turn it over. I wish I had a mirror though, because when the belt drive spins, it says R.I.P. Rapper on it.
No shit.
That's our tribute
When
to
it's
our
spinning,
friend
it does?
Charlie. Yeah.
Oh, that's tits.
That's
It's
awesome.
on the bottom. I mean, but as it goes around, today it's Dennis's turn. Otherwise, every show it goes to, it will have the R.I.P. Rapper on the top. So, it's not a project that I charge Dennis for. I've just been doing it because it's that simple. Right now there's 1,460 hours in it and probably another 200. But every single piece was made in my house.
Looks the same bike to me. It looks like the
There's a
same
lot of
bike to
stuff
me.
on this bike.
He has some of the old parts that are all trashed and shit, but he has them up there where they've been repainted and redone and matched up. I'm gonna say this, the guy that painted the bike, his name is Brian Bowen from Devil's Candies Custom. And when we got the bike, when I got it, it was this backbone down around here and the top of the fender was all that was left of the original paint. Everything else was done. Took all the pictures, blew them up, and I mean, the guy just, Dennis will tell you, you can't tell, right? It's amazing.
I would have thought it was exactly the same.
I thought it was.
He has the other fender upstairs.
Yeah.
You can't tell. I mean, unbelievable job. So, that's our little story, and we want to thank you all for coming, stuff like that. It's pretty awesome, and I just want to make it special for you guys.